You know that feeling when you walk into the skincare aisle?
Right.
It's not just confusion, it's this specific kind of paralysis.
Oh, yeah. Sensory overload.
Totally. You're just standing there staring at this wall of like white boxes and glass bottles, serums, essences, toners.
Everything is screaming promises at you.
Yes. Instant glow. Reverse 10 years? Clinical strikes. And I had this moment the other day. I picked up this $60 bottle. It was heavy, beautiful frosted glass, you know.
Looked like it came from the future.
Exactly. And I realized I was about to buy it just because it felt expensive in my hand. I had like absolutely no idea if the stuff inside was going to work or if I was just buying really nice bathroom decor.
That is the pretty bottle problem in a nutshell. It's the fundamental tension of the entire industry. We buy the fantasy, the ritual, the smell.
Weight of the glass.
Right. But we're applying chemistry.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, the fantasy and the chemistry have basically nothing to do with each other.
Which is why I'm so ready for this deep dive today. We're getting into the Guide to Skincare Products by Ingredientsage. This is the September 2025 update.
And what's great about this source is its perspective.
Right. It's not for the consumer. It's written for the people actually making the products.
It's from the private label manufacturing side of things.
Yeah.
And that vantage point, it just changes everything.
How so?
Well, when you look at it like a formulator, you stop looking at the marketing words on the front of the box. You start looking at the ingredient list on the back.
You stop caring about glow and start caring about pH stability.
Exactly. pH stability, molecular weight, delivery systems, the boring stuff that actually works.
And that is our mission today. We want to decode that label for you. We want to take you from being a consumer who guesses to one who, actually knows what's going on.
We're separating the biology from the hype.
We're going to break down why your face wash might be secretly wrecking your skin barrier, why the word natural is kind of legally meaningless, and why the most important part of your routine might actually be the plastic pump on the bottle.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's start at the foundation. The step I think most of us, myself included, just kind of treat as a throwaway. Cleansing. You wash the dirt off, you dry your face, you move on. But the source material comes in pretty hot on this one. It argues most of us are getting it wrong right from the start.
It is the most common point of failure in any routine. I mean, the guide really emphasizes that a cleanser's job is not just removing dirt.
If it was, you could just use, like, dish soap.
You could. Or laundry detergent. They remove dirt very, very effectively. Please do not do that.
Please do not use laundry detergent on your face.
The goal is to remove the grime, the sebum, the pollutants without messing up your skin's pH stability.
Okay, so this brings up a term in the report that sounds like a hazard warning, residual alkalinity.
And it really should be treated like a hazard warning for your face.
Okay, break that down.
So your skin has what's called an acid mantle. It likes to be slightly acidic at a pH of around 4.5 to 5.5.
Right.
That acidity keeps bad bacteria in check and keeps your moisture barrier happy. Residual alkalinity is what's left behind by cleansers that are too basic, too high on the pH scale, like an 8 or a 9.
So when you use a harsh, soapy cleanser, you're not just cleaning your skin. You're actually, chemically changing the environment of your face?
Precisely. You are stripping that acid mantle.
Yeah.
And the problem is it takes hours for your skin to repair that buffer. And in that time, you're vulnerable to irritation, dehydration, all the bad stuff.
Is this where that squeaky clean feeling comes from? I grew up thinking if my face didn't squeak, it wasn't clean.
That squeak is the sound of a compromised barrier. Seriously.
Yeah.
In manufacturing, formulating a cleanser is a huge balancing act. They want surfactants that are strong enough to lift oil, but not so aggressive that they strip the lipids holding your skin together. If you feel tight or squeaky, the product failed.
So after we've hopefully washed our face correctly, we move to moisturizing. The source talks about SPF synergy. Is that just a fancy way of saying they put sunscreen in lotion so we'll actually use it?
It is, pretty much. But from a formulation standpoint, it's all about compliance.
Right.
Manufacturers know people are busy. If you make them use a moisturizer, wait 5 minutes, then apply a separate sunscreen.
A lot of people are just going to skip the sunscreen.
Exactly. So they bundle it. But the deeper function of a moisturizer, according to this text, is addressing the check engine light of the face.
I loved that analogy.
It's perfect.
Okay.
If your skin is red or flaky or stings when you put products on, that's your check engine light. Your barrier is damaged.
And you can't go 100 miles per hour if the engine is overheating.
You got it. You can't throw high-strength acids on a broken barrier. You'll just cause more inflammation, which, by the way, actually speeds up aging. So you have to fix the barrier first.
Okay, so the wall is solid, The engine is cool. Now we can talk about the upgrades, the power players. Let's start with vitamin C.
The cornerstone antioxidant.
The source is really specific on the numbers here. It says an effective range is from 8% to 20%. Why is that? Like, why not 50%? Isn't more better?
In skincare, more is almost never better. It's a curve of efficacy versus irritation.
Okay.
So below 8%, the data shows you're not really getting significant photoprotection. It's basically just a sprinkle of fairy dust so they could put vitamin C on the label.
A marketing claim. Got it. So we need at least 8%. Why stop at 20?
Because above 20%, your skin's absorption receptors just get saturated. You don't get any more benefit. You just get way more irritation. The skin can only use so much before it shuts the door.
But here's the catch with vitamin C, and the source spends a lot of time on this. It's incredibly high maintenance.
It's a temperamental diva of an ingredient. Vitamin C is notoriously unstable. It hates three things: oxygen, light, and heat.
And the guide says you can actually see if your product has gone bad.
Yep. If you have a serum with L-ascorbic acid, which is the most common form, it should be clear, maybe a very pale champagne color.
And if it's not?
If you open that bottle and it's dark orange or brown, throw it away.
It's done, like it won't work anymore.
It is oxidized. It is degraded into something else. You're getting zero antioxidant protection. You're basically just applying expensive, sticky water.
Wow. Okay, let's talk about the other big one, retinoids. Retinaldehyde, the gold standard.
They are pretty much the only ingredients with decades of data showing they can actually reverse signs of aging. They speed up cellular turnover, telling your skin cells to act young again.
But, like vitamin C, there are rules. And the biggest one is the sun.
This is non-negotiable. Retinoids thin the outermost dead layer of your skin. That layer provides a little bit of natural sun protection. When you remove it, that fresh, new skin underneath is super susceptible to UV damage.
So if you're using retinol at night to fix wrinkles, but you skip sunscreen in the morning...
You are running on a treadmill. You are actively damaging the very skin you just tried to repair. You might actually be making things worse.
And you can't just jump into the deep end with this stuff, right? The guide talks about a gradient introduction.
Low and slow. That's what manufacturers suggest. Start with a low percentage, maybe just twice a week. Let your skin adjust.
That retinization period.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you go too hard, too fast, you'll just wreck your barrier. And then you have to stop everything and start over with barrier repair.
It's such a delicate ecosystem. Okay, speaking of which, let's talk exfoliants, AHAs and BHAs. People use these terms interchangeably, but they're really different.
Totally different. It's a chemistry distinction. AHAs, that's glycolic or lactic acid, are water-soluble. They work on the surface of the skin. Great for sun damage or general dullness.
And BHAs?
Beta-hydroxy acids, which is mainly salicylic acid. These are oil-soluble.
So they can get into the pores.
Right. They can penetrate through the oil in your pores and dissolve the clogs from the inside out. That's why they're the standard for acne and oily skin. You have to match the chemistry to your condition.
This all relies on us knowing what's in the bottle, which brings us to label literacy. The advice here is pretty blunt. Don't trust the front of the bottle.
The front of the bottle is for marketing. The back of the bottle is for the chemists. The guide says to look for explicit percentages of your actives. If a brand just says contains vitamin C but won't tell you how much, be skeptical.
It's a transparency test.
For sure. And then there's the whole clean beauty thing. The source takes a bit of a swing at this. It says, and I'm quoting, clean label does not equal hypoallergenic.
This is a huge misconception. We've been trained to think natural means gentle.
But just think about nature for a second. Poison ivy is 100% natural.
Right. Not gentle.
Not gentle. Just because an ingredient comes from a plant doesn't mean your skin will like it. A lot of botanical extracts and essential oils are major allergens.
So for someone with reactive skin, fragrance-free is actually a better label to look for than clean.
Ideally, yes. And just be careful with unscented.
Why?
Unscented can sometimes mean they just added another chemical, a masking fragrance, to hide the smell of the ingredients. Fragrance-free means no fragrance has been added at all.
That is sneaky. Okay, there was one part of this report that I found genuinely surprising. We ignore packaging unless it's, like, broken. But the source argues the bottle itself is basically an active ingredient.
It is a functional tool. It's not just decoration. We talked about vitamin C oxidants, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you put that unstable molecule in a clear glass jar with a screw-top lid, you have doomed that product from the start.
Because every time you open the jar, air gets in.
Air gets in, light gets in, and if you use your finger, bacteria gets in. This is why the guide loves airless pumps. They push the product up from the bottom, without letting any air back in.
So those really heavy, luxurious-looking jars on the vanity.
They're essentially Petri dishes. For a simple, stable moisturizer, they're fine. But for high-performance actives, you want a pump and you want an opaque bottle to block light.
There's a tension here, though. The guide mentions the conflict between stability and sustainability.
It's a huge issue in the industry right now. Those great airless pumps. They're often made of mixed materials and are a nightmare to recycle.
But the eco-friendly refill pouches?
They expose the product to a ton of air when you're pouring it into the old container.
So I could buy a refill of my expensive antioxidant serum and basically ruin the whole batch just by refilling it.
You might. It's a trade-off manufacturers are struggling with. They're working on it, but right now, it's tough.
Let's try to land this plane by building a routine. The source has a few templates. For the dry or sensitive profile, what's the mantra?
The mantra is do no harm. Use gentle, creamy cleansers. Load up on ceramide-rich moisturizers to patch that barrier. And if you use actives, buffer them. Put a layer of moisturizer on first.
And for the oily or acne-prone listener, the instinct is always to scrub everything away.
That is the worst instinct. The guide warns about rebound oil. If you strip your skin, it panics and overproduces oil to compensate.
So you end up even oilier.
Exactly. You still must hydrate, just use something labeled non-comedogenic.
And finally, for aging concerns, the triad.
It's simple. Protection in the morning, repair at night. So vitamin C and sunscreen in the AM, retinoids in the PM. That's your foundation.
But we have to talk about timelines. The source says patience is critical. How long do we really need to wait to see if this stuff is working?
This is where so many of us fail.
Yeah.
We want results overnight. But biology runs on a clock. The average skin cell turnover cycle is about 28 days, and it slows down as we get older.
So if I try a new serum for a week and say, meh, it didn't work.
Yeah.
You haven't even given it one full cycle. You need to give a new routine 6 to 8 weeks minimum to really judge if it's effective.
Unless you have a bad reaction, obviously.
Right. Which brings us to patch testing.
The most boring, most ignored, and most important advice ever.
Just put a dab behind your ear for 24 hours before you put it all over your face. It's so simple, and it can save you from a full face rash.
So before we wrap, I want to zoom out to the macro view. Where is the industry headed? It seems like personalization is the big buzzword.
It is. We're moving away from one-size-fits-all. Manufacturers are using AI skin analysis apps, even at-home DNA kits, to formulate custom products.
Instead of guessing your skin type, you have data. And what about regulations?
It depends on where you are. In the US, the FDA is really focused on sunscreen safety. In the EU and UK, they're much stricter about allergens and fragrance labeling.
Which is probably why we see all those third-party logos everywhere now. Vegan, cruelty-free.
Exactly. Consumers want verification. But just remember, those are ethical claims, not efficacy claims. A product can be vegan and still be totally useless for your wrinkles.
So what does this all mean for us? We've gone from grabbing a pretty bottle to talking about alkalinity and pump dispensers.
It means skincare is a decision-making process. It's not a shopping spree. It requires a little bit of reading, a little bit of assessment. We have to become informed analysts of our own biology.
You stop being a victim of the marketing budget.
You become the CEO of your own face. You hire the ingredients that work, and you fire the ones that don't.
I love that. CEO of your own face. Okay, as we sign off, I think we should leave the listener with a little bit of homework.
I have a challenge for you. Tonight, go to your bathroom shelf. Find your most expensive serum, the one you paid the most for.
Okay.
And look at the bottle. Is it clear glass? Is it sitting on a shelf where the morning sun hits it? If the answer is yes to either of those, you have to ask yourself, are you applying a miracle cure? Or are you just applying very expensive oxidized water?
Oof. That is going to cause some panic in bathrooms tonight. But hey, better to know now than to keep buying the wrong thing.
Knowledge is the best active ingredient.
There it is. Thanks for listening to this deep dive. Go check your labels, move your serums out of the sun, and we will catch you on the next one.